Hey guys, Dilby here, welcome back to the channel. So one of my patrons, Adam Murray, popped me a question the other day saying, hey, can you make a tutorial about some kind of deep house pads? I hit him back and said, can you send me some references? And he didn't. So I had to take things into my own hands, and this is what we've got. So today we're going to look at how to make some pads, specifically these kind of lush 80s Juno 60 style pads. These are really popular in modern kind of deep minimal house. This kind of Dutch sound from Chris Stussy, his label Up the Stuss. Specifically some artists on there like Chris Stussy himself, Janere, Locklead, Vites, this type of thing. But this is a really classic sound, and it's definitely applicable to a lot more genres than just like deep minimal house. Just quickly, if you like the track that you can hear playing, it's a new one of mine on Glasgow Underground. It's currently sitting at number 13 in the deep house. So do me a favor and buy a copy, would you? Let's get into the top 10. Do it. No, but in all seriousness, I really do appreciate the support with my music, and I'm honoured by the success that it garners. There's a link to Beatport in the description. And as always, there's a link in the description to Patreon so you can download the project files from this. Now let's just jump into Ableton and make some pads. Give it to them. Alright guys, so here we are inside Ableton, and I've put together a little project in a kind of minimal deep house style, loosely based on the sound of Chris Stussy's label Up the Stuss, don't know how to say it. If you're not interested in seeing through the project at all, you can just jump ahead to this timestamp here, and that's all the sound design and synthesis for the pad. Let's just take a quick listen to the project. Nice one. So we've got a kick here, and it's got a little tambourine on top to give it a little bite. And we've got a clap loop, and a snare doing some grooves. Sounds nice. We've got some hats, like an open hat, which is a bit of a shaker kind of thing. A closed hat, just doing some grooves. And another hat loop. Sounds like this. Dope. We've got a percussion loop, which I've put a tantra on, and this is coming from Underground Shades of House, best sample pack in the world. Get that, link up here. So the tantra is just to make it a bit more interesting and glitchy, so that sounds like this. So super simple beat, but it's like full and interesting. We've got a bass here, just a really simple patch from Wavetable, a square and a saw. Pretty simple stuff. Sounds like this. Most of the magic of this sound is happening from the MIDI, which is here playing on this lower octave, then this higher octave, lower octave, higher octave, and then at the end we're playing on another higher octave up. So that just really gives it this kind of bouncy feel. Then we've got string and this organ pluck thing. Almost sounds like a submarine sonar kind of thing. This is just coming from a organ bass sample, and I've pitched it up by 1 octave, put a bit of saturation on it and a bit of filter. So the original sound is like this. Boring. I think this is really cool. It's sounding nice, and I'm pretty happy with it. So good. So let's just talk a little bit about the sound source. The Juno 60, right? Classic Roland synthesizer. If we're going to try and recreate this, we need to understand a little bit about it. So the first thing we need to know is we've got a chorus here, right? This is a big part of what gives the Juno such a classic and recognizable sound. Next thing is the oscillators. So we've got a square or a pulse width. We've got a sawtooth and a sub, which is also a square. Now the next thing to look at is the envelope section, or the modulation sections, right? We've got an envelope here, but we only have one envelope. We've got an LFO, we've got one LFO, and then we've got some controls like sending the LFO and the envelopes to the filter or the oscillators. So we need to keep that in mind when we're doing our sound design, if we're trying to recreate the sound of the Juno 60. So I've actually done some work ahead of time and made a sound, but we're going to recreate it live as well. So here's a basic idea of what I'm trying to do. So that's where we might get to. So what we'll do, make a new MIDI track, Command F and get a wavetable. Luckily in Wavetable, we've got the ability for having two oscillators, sawtooth a square or pulse width, and a sub. We'll turn this up here, and I believe that makes it into a square or a pulse width. So we'll turn down the sub volume a bit, and it sounds like arse. We'll turn down the volume a little bit. Now, still sounds like arse. So we've got a bit of work to do, right? Firstly, we're going to find that Tal chorus LX, which is going to emulate the Juno 60 chorus. So we'll turn on both choruses, and we'll turn the volume down a little bit now. Whoa. So this is a free plugin. I use it in every video. I use it in every track I make. It's amazing, and you need it in your life. So just go get that. Right, so it sounds cooler, but it doesn't sound like a pad. So what I've done, I found this sample from Chris Stussey's sample pack, and it's a pad sound. Also in the key of the track. So what we're going to do, bring up our spectrum analyzer here, have a listen, and have a look. So we can see here, it's playing E, G, B. Hang on a second. That's a minor triad chord. But what's this? There's a D. So that is a minor seventh. Fantastic. Let's put in that chord, E, G, B, and that sneaky D. Command A and legato. Then we grab the top here of this loop brace, hit times two again, and now we've got it going over 4 bars. So let's take a listen to that. Sounds way better than that, right? But it doesn't sound like a pad. So let's work on the amplification envelope. We're going to add some attack. So it's got this kind of easy roll into the pad. We're going to extend out the decay a bit, somewhere around 5 seconds. Bring down the sustain. A bit more release. This is starting to sound good. We want some filter. So we're going to bring this back somewhere around 1K and pump up a bit of resonance, somewhere around 50%. Now, if we remember on the Juno, it had only one envelope. So we're going to go to the matrix here, and we're going to use the amplification envelope to influence the filter. That's doing it to the resonance. You idiot. Now we want to do it to the filter frequency. Is that a padder here? We'll add in a little bit of reverb. This is just from my standard template. I'll link a video up here if you want to go and check out the template. You can also download it from Patreon. I mean, that's sounding pretty dope to me. Now, what we can do is, if we remember in the Juno, we had a couple of pulse width modulation options, right? So what we'll do is, maybe it's a bit OCD, but that's not perfect. So yeah, 67. I wish Ableton would make these click into place when you went over the actual 100% oscillator waveform. But anyway, let's bring down the volume of this square a little bit. We'll hit this to select classic and pulse width. That gives it that kind of dreamy pad-like vibe, right? Awesome. But that's a bit boring for my taste. So what we're going to do is go to the modulation matrix. I'm going to add a little bit of LFO1 to this pulse width modulation. Turn off this restart. I mean, I don't know about you, but that sounds really good to me. What I'm going to actually do is modulate this even further. I'm going to hit the rate here, and then I'm going to use LFO2 to modulate the rate of LFO1. Just a little bit. I want that to be a bit slower as well. The reason we're doing this kind of thing is because now all of our pads, when we play them, are going to sound different. It gives it this slightly analog vibe. I don't know. Is that a thing? I'm saying it is. Okay, I think we're in a good place. Let's hear it with the track. Maybe a little bit longer attack. So we could pretty much call it quits there and say that's a Juno pad, but you know, I like to make my stuff a bit more interesting and a bit more crazy, do some unnecessary work. So let's see if we can get this guy cranking. What I'm going to do is grab an auto filter, put that on here, and place it like here, put a bit of resonance, a little bit of drive. Now, what we can do so this filter is happening as it happens on the synth, but now we've got this other filter which is happening independently. I'm just going to add a little bit of LFO amount. Let's turn this down a bit because we're getting quite a bit of volume. A bit of phase. So now we're getting that kind of panorama type thing. Now what I'm going to do is go back here, turn on some unison. Let's just listen to what that does without the filter. It just kind of instantly makes it feel a bit more lush, right? I think that's a good upgrade that we can have from our Juno pad. And I like this, and what I'm going to do is put some automation in here. Oh, another idea we could do is duplicate this. So we'll grab these and we'll go 2, 3. That puts this and this out of the scale. So let's bring that up. So now we're playing 2 chords. We're playing an E minor chord, and then we're playing a G major chord. So that's going to sound like this. Lush, right? Okay, so let's grab this filter frequency because we want it to be a bit more, if we listen to that Christussy one, you know, we want it to be a bit more like wow. So let's see, where's the lowest point that we're going to have it at? Somewhere like that. Okay, this is creating a bit of low frequency, so bring that off. Cool. So let's go to the envelopes here, select filter frequency, and I'll just put a dot there, and a dot there, and a dot there. Okay, so now we're going to bring it up like this. Maybe bring it up a bit faster. This doesn't really matter too much because I'm going to show you a really cool way to make it sound a bit more humanized. We don't even need to record automation. Lush, right? So if you have a controller or something, you could record in this automation, but I'm going to show you like a little hack about how to do it without. Hit B, and then you hold Alt on your keyboard, and we're going to basically hand draw in this line, and it's going to be much less perfect. You can add purposeful kind of imperfections, So now, nice, right? So let's take it a bit further. Let's add a little bit of overdrive. I just want this to be pretty subtle. On the pad, we're going to use this dynamics, kind of control the dynamics of the pad. It's kind of adding some compression. Well, let's try about 10% of this. Nice. I really like this. I really like this. Now, one thing that I'm not super buzzed on is the way that it's really clearly defined between one pad and the other because of the amplification and filter envelopes and then this filtering as well. So what I'm going to do is add an echo after this. Let's just bring this a bit more down, a bit more feedback. Check on a ping pong, bring this up to about 500, something like that. Bring this up all the way, and then let's have a listen. You can hear it kind of smooths out those transitions, right? Really cool. I think we're going to leave it with that, but you'll notice that it is a little bit different to this one. That's because I've added a bit of extra modulation, but I think it's worth having two slightly different versions in here that you can use if you grab the project files from Patreon. So this one here, I've gone a little bit further, and I've added this LFO, which is hitting the phase on the filter, and I've added this shaper, which is an envelope follower. I've set that to the LFO frequency, which is the rate. You can see what this is doing as it goes along. So if I turn those off, cool, but this one's a bit more kind of solid, paddy. I think it's worth having both. I hope you enjoyed that, and you can see how these techniques are applicable to making any kind of pad or string sound. If you want to grab the project file and have a look at this kind of stuff, save these presets to use in your projects, go ahead. It's in Patreon, link in the description. Let's just take a listen to this smooth jam and play it out. Yeah, that pad's awesome. It really just kind of mellows the track, you know? It makes it a bit more of a groover than this kind of, has a slightly tech house aesthetic without it. A bit more driving, and then the pad just really helps to kind of mellow it out. Nice, nice. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Nice one, hey? I really like those pads. They're so cool. They're so iconic sounding. I'm pretty sure that you can see how those techniques are like applicable to a whole bunch of different sounds and genres. If you're looking for something to watch next, then why not check out this video? It's really good. Anyway, that's it from me today. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Let them see those atomic isotopes that spit in nature. So give it to them.